This week's Extra Life on F5 Live is proudly powered by EXA. EXA brings the latest technology to gamers, offering the most immersive products for the ultimate gaming experience with tech like Bluetooth 5.0, 7.1 surround, dual mics, ultra-low latency in their headsets, and a whole lot more. They've got headsets for Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, and PC, plus they won't break the bank, which is the best part. And to learn more about the headsets that are available and any current promotions, you can go to f5live.tv/exa. I just mentioned in the pilch point some stuff coming to Edge, and that has started this week. A couple weeks ago, Microsoft said that they had been working on some features that they had planned to roll out in the near future, and this week was it. Most of it is focused on gaming. We'll talk about the three big features that are gaming features. First is the new gaming homepage. If you have opened Edge in anything other than the minimized mode, you know that there's news tabs across the top with content. The gaming tab, which is new to the homepage, has all kinds of interesting stuff, like current scores for esports tournaments that are going on, links to enter future tournaments, results of past tournaments, news from all over the industry, including recently released and upcoming games. It's even got featured live streams, and in my research, I saw both YouTube and Twitch come across as featured live streams, showing that Microsoft is not giving any priority to one service over the other. Interestingly, I never encountered one on Facebook Gaming, despite the fact that that was who Microsoft partnered with when they shut Mixer down. So I don't know what's going on there, but didn't see anything. Maybe Facebook's API for finding out who's live in the gaming category just isn't as good. I don't know. But the really cool part is if you are a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber, you can see your games right there on that tab, so long as you're signed into the browser with that account. You can see your games, you can launch them directly from there and get right into the game without having to go anywhere. Really cool for people who are using the computer for gaming stuff. Obviously, I spend a lot of time in there. I spent a lot of time on the gaming tab this week, not just because of the article. I decided to write the article because I had spent so much time on that tab. There's a lot of information. I really was enjoying it, and it's well curated in a way that that I liked. And for people who are heavy into esports and things like Alante, that's going to be. I imagine he's going to spend some time on that thing. Have you gotten a chance to check it out, Avram?
No, I haven't really had a chance to do a lot of game streaming lately. But I think it's really cool that Microsoft is trying to differentiate by trying to make their browser more streaming friendly. I mean, it's interesting. Have you gotten to actually try the Clarity Boost? Can anybody try it now?
Yes. So it is. That's the next feature. Yes, that is 100% in the browser if you're on the most recent version of Chromium Edge, which on this computer I am not. I've got too many things open to close it and come back. But the Clarity Boost, I was glad to not have this one upgraded because I compared it to its twin, which does have the most recent Edge, and I had the same game basically side by side, and I mean edges that are supposed to be crisp are crisper. It's hard to describe, but you can definitely see the difference between the picture quality. Same game, same computer, only difference is the browser version, and yeah, it was depends on the game. Some games were less obvious than others. But some games were massively different, which was pretty cool. It was a distinct visual difference. So, good on them for that one. The other interesting thing is the efficiency mode, which I mentioned a couple minutes ago in the Pilch Point. Efficiency mode is kind of the browser equivalent of what Microsoft added in Windows 10 for gaming. When you start a game, it has the ability to essentially hibernate everything else that's going on the computer if you turn that capability on. Edge can now do that. If you start gaming in the browser, Edge will essentially hibernate all of the other tabs to guarantee that you have all of the resources that you could possibly have, partially because of what we talked about in the Pilch Point, and that's the resource hogginess of modern browsers. Microsoft recognized it and said, all right, we'll release all those resources, and just hibernates everything for you. That's a cool capability.
Yeah, I mean, it's really important, obviously, whether you've got 8 gigs, especially if you've got 8 gigs of RAM, but maybe even if you've got 32, to be able to carefully marshal your resources. I also think it's about more than just like RAM too, right? Because if you've got things, for example, running in a background tab, they could still be eating up CPU resources and doing things there. So
because JavaScript is run on the fly, it uses resources, RAM, CPU, everything. Plus, you could have things that are in the background, pinging network services for updates. Facebook is obviously notorious for having a long running background thread for updates, and they're not far from the only one. You could have things that are, we talked about in the first segment. You could have things that are pinging for GPS and all kinds of things. All those resources can get freed up all at once.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I hope they're not going to do it to stuff that needs it, though, because, I mean, you want your Gmail tab to be checking Gmail when it's in the background. It's not, there's a lot of things that you want to be going on in the background. So I hope that it's good about that. If
this ends up working, and I haven't messed around with the efficiency mode too terribly much. I guess not too terribly means something else. Anyway, if it works anything like the Windows 10 and Windows 11 mode, you can essentially whitelist certain apps, and in this case, probably certain domains would be my guess. So hopefully, if not, Microsoft, get on that, please, because you certainly have the capability of wanting certain things to be updating in the background, even if you are gaming. So, but I mean, this is a lot of interesting stuff. Interestingly, the clarity boost, while obviously you hear Microsoft Edge, you go Game Pass, Microsoft Cloud Gaming. It doesn't have to be. This affects games that are available in the browser. This makes visuals better on Stadia. It's not Xbox cloud gaming specific. This is a unifying thing. They're dealing with scaling and all kinds of things to sharpen edges and things like that. And good for them for not creating some sort of an internal proprietary thing. It's very similar to what they did with Netflix, right? Old Edge and Chromium Edge both supported Netflix and 4K in the browser, and last I checked, they're still the only one to allow that, and it's done through a standards thing. So anybody else, Hulu or HBO Max or whoever could take advantage of it too. I don't know if they have, but Netflix for sure has, which I think is pretty cool. And this is very similar. This is, nobody has to do anything special to make this one work. It just works, whether you're Microsoft or not. So that's pretty cool. Edge has been my default browser for quite a while, because obviously I use a lot more Microsoft services than I do anybody else, so it makes sense. But this is a huge thing for people who are gaming in the browser. So I look forward to seeing what they add in the future. Hopefully we'll get some fine-grained capabilities in the efficiency mode if it's not there already. Maybe Clarity Boost even has some future potential in it. And maybe, the gaming homepage has some customizations now. I'd like to see some additional capabilities. Tell it I am not interested in live streaming, for example, or maybe I'm heavily interested in it. Instead of just seeing one tile at the top, maybe you'd see more than one. I'd like some more customization there, but it's a great first start. Hello, YouTube. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of F5 Live Refreshing Technology. If you did, please subscribe to the channel down below, and of course hit the notification bell, because we know that subscriptions don't mean much on YouTube anymore. If you've got topics that you'd like us to talk about in the future, please comment them down below. And if you'd like to not follow us on YouTube, there's lots of ways that you can follow along with our content by going to plughitslive.com/subscribe. There you'll see all of our shows and all of the ways that you can watch, listen, and follow along.